Alright, next I guess we'll go ahead and add some sounds to our player. So I have some bird sounds here. Bird clips. Let's go right into our player controller. Alright, so let's just add an audio source. We'll add this to our player as well. So we'll just call it on the script get component. Equals get component audio source. That's the component. Okay, it'll take it off this object. Let's give ourselves two arrays of audio clips. Let's call this land sounds. Okay, so I want to use the chirp sounds on attack and jump. I want them to be the same. And the landing sound will just be one, but we can use an array there as well in case in the future we want to add some. So right here, let's create a new function. Let's call this void choose clip. Okay, so we don't have to call this a bunch of times. We can just create something to do it. So we'll do that index again. And move it out of range. Okay, so I'll do this just for chirp sounds. Let's stop it. So let's call stop on that at the start. Just in case we attach a clip in the inspector at any point. Let's make sure it doesn't play right away. Whoops. Stop. Sorry. Let's call it choose clip here. But actually, let's play it again inside the function. I think that'll be fine. Okay, so let's do choose clip there, and let's do choose clip on attack as well. Okay, so right before it plays the animations, it'll select the clip and play it. So on our land, that is right here. Come down here right before the landing animation. Okay, so that should work. Okay, go to our player, add your whatever sounds you want to your both of your arrays. Make sure you add the audio source. I just went full 3D. A max distance of 100 for the player is a little bit more important. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so he chirps when he attacks. When he jumps, he does a little hiccup when he lands. So I just want to change something about this coin effect. Gold coin shockwave. Yeah, on this audio source here that I added, I think I'll just remove this. And we'll use something else to play that sound in 2 dimensions. Yeah, I think it's cool to just have the 3 of them the same for now. Okay, so let's look at our UI, our user interface. Clicking the 2D button, scrolling out, way out. You can also just double click one of these and it would take you right to it. I think what I want to do is I think I want to have the gold way over here. Put the silver out there, the copper like that. I think I'd rather have them like this. Like World of Warcraft. So hitting Z, you can change it from, well, you have multiple things selected, you can actually change your pivot from a single object, an individual origins basically, to median point, so basically the center of the entire mass. So I'm just going to actually, I could just shrink those. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just going to shrink them individually like that, or shrink them all together, just like that. So but I guess let's move this over to the right. There we go. It's a little more understandable. Okay, let's go with that. Let's take the gold coin display, duplicate it, and slide it way over here. We'll make this our health. Alright. We'll change the icon right now to be red or something. Okay, and that should actually display our health once we add it to our code. So let's go over here to our game manager. Let's add another one of these. Say health text. Okay, we want to update same thing, so it'll update right at the start, and we could update it as well when we get hurt. And it'll just update our coins as well, and that's totally okay. So we'll say health text dot text equals player health dot toString. So it should just say 3 right off the bat, and we'll take 1 away every time we get hurt by something. Okay, on our game manager, just make sure we drag in this text right here. Okay, we hit play. This should look much better. There we are. Collecting our coins. So we'll make ourselves get hurt. I guess we need to add those animations to our animator. So let's do that first. Let's add 2 triggers, hurt. And we could say faint, or die, or whatever you want to put there. We need to go to characters, I think. Yes. Let's drag in faint and hurt. Okay, we're just going to make a transition from any state to the hurt. A nice low transition, and the faint as well. Okay, so from hurt, we want to do the same thing we did with our land and attack. Let's come back to our idle and our locomotion, depending on what we're going to do. So speed percent greater than 0.05. We'll leave exit time. Yeah, we want to make sure it plays the whole hurt animation. So this one will say less than 0.05. So that should be good. Now we just want to add another function to our code, our player controller code. Let's go down to our attack function. Let's copy, paste. Let's change this to hurt function, hurt. We won't choose a clip. We will say can move equals false. We won't check if we're grounded or not. Remove these. Change this to hurt. We will set our attack trigger false. In case we're in the middle of attack, we might as well erase it, right? And we'll set our trigger hurt. Alright. Setting our speed back to 0 is a good thing to do before you trigger stuff. Just stops it from kind of tweaking out once the animation has played. Okay, so we just need another I enumerator. So we'll say hurt timer. And we'll just give it a second before we can move again. We'll say 0.65. I think that works with something down here. And we'll just say can move equals true. So as we get hurt, we also want to remove, we'll say game manager.instance player health minus equals 1. Okay. So we probably want to call this we'll say public. So we'll call this on another little code that we'll add a trigger to our player to check for damaging tags. Okay, so we just got to make sure we call this this coroutine right here as well. All right, that should work out. So without actually dying yet. Well, here we could also say if game manager.instance.player health is less than or equal to 0, die, but we will actually set the player health equal to 0 if this is the case. Like, we don't want to go 0, -1, -2, -3, right? We don't want it to do that. Even if he dies, we don't want on the display to keep going into the negatives. Let's call this player damage. So we'll treat this like a trigger. Okay, we can copy this over to player damage. We can say if we get hit by TNT. This is currently all we have, so we'll just say that. We will have a start function. So we'll actually we'll get our player controller script right away. Because that holds our hurt function, but it is public, so we can call it from here. Want to state it right here, so just player controller, same way as we did the audio sources. Right, you can do the same thing with scripts that you've written. They are components. or meant to be. There's a few different forms. Scriptable objects are very cool. Talk about that in another episode. We don't want to do this right here. What do we want to do? Damage. Don't drop coins. Don't destroy. Okay, so let's say player controller. Dot. Then we can call the function just like that. So if we get hit by TNT, call the hurt script. So it should actually play our hurt animation, should stop us for a second. So the TNT should now hurt us. We didn't lose an HP. Oh, we do need to update our display as well when we get hurt. So we'll say on the player damage, update display. There we go. That should do it. Oh, ridiculous. Ridiculous me. Okay, let's actually add the trigger to the player. That might help out as well. Player damage. Okay, that should do it. There we are. We were hurt. We lost an HP. Okay, so actually, just to be safe, we're going to create another bool for ourselves. So it's right up here. Under can move, let's say hurt. Default value of false. Set it false at the start. And we're just going to check on our coroutines whether we're hurt or not to continue them. So we will, on our hurt function, let's say hurt equals true. Okay, and here we'll set it false. And here we want to check on all of these. So if we've attacked, we want to interrupt it. So we'll say if exclamation point hurt. And this is the same thing as saying hurt if hurt equals false that way. Right, you can do it either way. Okay. Yeah, that's all we need. So let's copy this and add it down here. So we'll wait, but we'll check after the timer's up to see if we're not hurt, if we're going to continue this, because we do have our can move and our attack trigger set on our hurt function right here. We should be okay. So that should do it. I think that'll work.